Hi, welcome back. Welcome to today's Forecourt film, which is essentially a handover video for the F30 series of BMW. Today we are actually using the LCI facelifted 2017 car and also the Touring. But what I'm going to try and do is just sort of talk you through some of the differences that you see on each of these cars, point out some of the features that are across the entire board. From that we have the 3 Series sort of non-facelift model, which came out in 2011. Through to the Touring models, which started coming through in 2012. Also the F32 and F33, both Coupe and Convertible for the 4 Series, and then also the Gran Coupe as well. So a huge number of different models all in that family, but as I will try and discuss and show you today, a lot of the features work across the board with all of them. But I'll just sort of highlight the main differences. So yeah, we'll crack straight on. I said we sell a lot of cars to people that we don't necessarily meet in person, and the cars are delivered. So we quite like to do these videos for you to basically work as a handover video, explain all the controls and everything like that, so that you know what to do with your new car. And similarly, it might be very interesting for anybody that's looking to buy one of these as well. So as I mentioned, this is the 2017 facelift model. I'll just kind of talk you through some of the different parts of it. This is the M Sport model. It's the most popular one in terms of the specifications that we do. Originally, they came out in the SE trim, the modern trim. They also then had another model called the Luxury. They're all on different sort of trim levels. It's going to be quite difficult to talk through some of those, but there were certain options that were only available on each of those cars. Then there was also a Sport model, very, very popular with sort of company cars and things like that, kept the values down for monthly payments and things like that, but not quite so popular as a sort of second-hand buy, as most people that are after the sports kind of appearance would prefer to go for the M Sport that you see here. Towards the end of the F30 range, there was the Shadow line, which again gave you additional bits and pieces, mainly styling, things like that, so things like black wing mirrors, black grille and everything like that, and everything that you see on the Shadow line models. So today we're obviously going to focus on the M Sport, but I'm just going to essentially talk you through how everything works. We'll start on the outside and just with the very, very basics. The key. So all the keys look the same, although you do get different colours and things like that. You can pop it out just by pressing the button on the back of the key, and that will reveal the blade, so that you can still actually use that to physically get into the car. And but essentially most of the cars, obviously if the batteries are all working, you would just use the remote on there. So to unlock the car, you press the top button. To lock the car, you press the middle button. And to do the tailgate or the boot on each of the cars, you would press and hold this one and it'll either pop the tailgates on the saloons and coupes, or it'll operate the power tailgates if that's in place there as well. On these ones as well, if you do have a power tailgate, you can press and hold it again, and the tailgate will close down. If your car is equipped with folding mirrors, you can press and hold the lock button, and the mirrors, I'll just show you now, will fold in electrically. There is a button inside as well, which I'll show you, but that's just quite a handy feature for the keys. If you are to either board a ferry and leave the car, so the car's going to be moving around, or it needs to go onto a trailer, or similarly if you want to leave the children in the car, or your dog in the car while you just go in and pay for petrol, if you just press 3 or 4 times on the key, you'll see the solid red light come up on there. Now that basically means that the car is locked. If somebody wants to go and break through the window, the alarm will go off, but it just means that the internal sensors have been turned off, so any sort of motion inside the car will not set the alarm off, and similarly the tilt sensor as well will not go off. So if the car is on a ramp or something like that, then it won't set the alarm off. If your car is equipped with comfort access, which is essentially keyless entry as well, then similarly all you'll need to do is just come up with the keys on your person somewhere, whether it be in your handbag or in your pocket, as long as it's within, I think, about half a metre of the car, and you put your hand on the door handle, the car will automatically unlock, as you'll see from there. So you can simply just get straight in and drive off. To lock the car, this car does not have keyless entry on it, by the way. I'm just showing you this one here. If the car does have keyless entry, what you'll see here is just a number of very small pads. It's like a pressure pad that's on there. It's body coloured as well, so you wouldn't really notice it. To lock the car, you would press this one down, and the car would lock as well. So press like this, on the door handle to open it, and lock it by pressing your finger onto there. That's if the car is featured with comfort access, which is also known as keyless entry as well. Once inside the car, all cars are fully keyless, so you don't have to put the key in anywhere. As long as the key is inside the car, you'll be able to start the engine and turn the ignition on and things like that as well. In terms of other bits and pieces on the outside, the fuel is release here is on the right-hand side for UK cars, so it's on the driver's side. When the car is locked, the fuel cap's locked, so you can't get into it. When the car is unlocked, you just press and open it from there, and then it's a simple twist to remove that. When you're finished, just close that back in, and again, once the car is locked, the fuel cap is locked as well. In terms of opening the boot, now this is very much the same on the Saloon Coupe models, Gran Coupe, Touring and everything like that. There is a pressure pad just underneath the BMW logo there. You just press and that will work there. While we're here, just to show you, if you have a reversing camera, again, that is fitted just above the number plate there. So it films out towards the back. Touring models are a little bit different. They also have this additional rear window here, which is very, very useful. So you can pop this open. It does actually mean that if someone's parked quite close to a wall, for instance, and by opening the tailgate, you're going to bang into it, you can actually just open this, put your bags and things like that straight in through the top. It's also very, very useful if you have a dog in the summer and you need to park up somewhere, depending on the size of your dog and how eager they are to get out. You can actually leave the dog in the car with the boot open there, so that they can't get out, but they're obviously getting lots of fresh air and things like that. So very, very useful rear hatch on there. Obviously some of the bits and pieces are very much driven by the specification of the car. So on the M Sport models we have this gloss black shadow line trim all the way around the outside. So if you ever see gloss black shadow line, that's what they are. It basically just means all of these little accents here and everything like that are gloss black. This car's obviously been equipped with privacy glass as well. And that's obviously which gives it the look here. So there are obviously going to be differences across all of the cars. Originally, when the cars came out in 2011, the front headlights as standard were halogen. The only models that had the xenon headlights as standard were the coupes and convertibles and Gran Coupe. So they all had xenon lights. But all of them were available to be upgraded with either the visibility package or the standard xenon headlights as well. The visibility package would give you xenon headlights as well as high beam assist. So it would dip the headlights when a car came towards you at night and then put them back up again once the car had passed. But also gave you adaptive lights as well. So adaptive lights formed part of the visibility package. If you just had the xenon lights, then obviously that's what you would have at the front there with the Angel Eye LEDs as well. When the cars were facelifted, they actually did away with the xenon lights as an option, and all M Sport models then came equipped with these new LED style lights up here, which you'll see. And it also meant that the headlight wash disappeared. So headlight washers not required for LED lights, but if you had xenons, you automatically got headlight washers as part of that package. Obviously, increase in light performance, but also actually just changed the whole kind of look of the front of the car as well. You could always spot one that had been upgraded with the xenon light, so quite a nice sought after option to have. Now, sticking with the M Sport theme, if you were to have the M Sport Plus package, there are a number of different items that came as part of that, and again it was a very, very popular package with anybody ordering an M Sport. With that package you would receive the xenon headlights at the front, the upgraded 19-inch alloy wheels. There was a couple of different designs there on the original car. They look like this, and on the later ones you would get this one here, which is in orbit grey and then diamond cut across the front. Also an upgrade with the M Sport Plus package was the M Sport braking system. This is denoted by the blue M Sport calipers that we see here, and again a very, very popular option for sort of style and everything like that. The M Sport Plus package also on the Saloon, Touring and 4 Series Gran Coupe and Coupe models gave you the privacy glass as well. That wasn't something that was standard on the M Sport Plus package for the convertibles. So you would have that. And then on the inside of the car, it was upgraded with the Harman Kardon Logic 7 system that we see here as well. So this is a full M Sport Plus package car. Like I said, a very, very popular option to have, and one that we always ideally look out for when buying the car as well. So I think that's pretty much it on the outside, other than to mention that during the facelift, the rear lights changed ever so slightly. So you now have this all one colour rear lights on here. It's a very standard sort of BMW facelift item. Essentially halfway through the sort of product cycle for those cars, they always change the rear lights and make very subtle changes to the fronts as well. Right, we'll jump inside the car and sort of show you through some of the other bits. Again, a lot of the models also have the LED lighting on the outside under the door handles, which is actually a very nice feature. Doesn't it show quite so much with all the lights on in here? But again, looks very, very nice indeed. So inside, number of different seating options depending on what model you have, whether it be SE, Modern, Luxury. All of the models did have the availability to upgrade to these sport seats. These are obviously standard on the M Sport. It does give you a little bit more adjustment. Also has the pull-out front sections here as well. Gives you a tilt on there, so we've got more of a sort of bucket seat kind of feel to it. And then they also had these inflatable side bolsters as well. So just by using the air in there, I'm not sure whether you'll hear it, but that will actually inflate the side bolsters and sort of grip you into place. It's manual adjustment for the rest of it as standard, but the coupes and convertibles, most of those did come with electric seats as an option on those. If your car is equipped with the lumbar support, then the control is just down here as well, and that's a 4-way electric lumbar support. So if the car's got that, then that's in place there. It wasn't a massively popular option actually. I haven't seen it on a lot of cars, but that's certainly where that would be. And obviously, if you had electric seats as well, the setup is normal that you would have memory for the driver's side function with 2 different memory settings. This car has also been upgraded with the panoramic roof, a very, very popular option for the touring model.
A super low 24,991.
Features an electric blind that comes all the way across there. You could have a standard normal size sunroof on the Saloon, and then on the coupes actually. Convertible roof was obviously a fixed hardtop, and then Gran Coupe as well. You can also get the larger panoramic roof. So yes, that is a tilt and slide option on this. So up and then back. The rear one there is fixed. That all works very, very nicely. Some other BMW models used to suffer with a lot of rattle and things like that from them, or leaks, whereas actually I've never had a single issue at all actually with any of the F31 models on any of the panoramic roofs. So yeah, that's actually been quite nice. And then you see that you've got this black cover, which is a really nice solid one as well actually. And that covers up and obviously just covers the interior completely. The roof itself has actually got quite a high level tint on it, so the sunblind's not really massively useful unless you just wanted to black absolutely everything out. To the back of the car, you've got 12-volt sockets. This car's been upgraded with a storage package. If you don't have a storage pack, you just have the normal seat backs there. As this one has a storage package, you have the netting on the back there, as well as some additional cubby holes and things in the front. The Harman Kardon speakers, also, if you have those fitted through, they're labelled in the front, as we saw, but also they're a lighter sort of colour in the back there, more like a bit more silvery and things like that. In terms of in the boot, so this is obviously the major kind of area where things change. Every single one of the touring models has a 40-40-20 split for the rear, so they can be pushed back down. Again, other options, you have folding headrests across all of the models, and it just helps with rear visibility. This one's actually got the normal fixed ones, but you can put each of those sides down. The Saloon models, you did have to specify that you wanted to have folding rear seats. If the original owner did not tick the box, then the rear seats will not fold down and they will be fixed in place. So anybody that's buying a Saloon that feels that they need to have the folding seats, do check that out. The easiest way of finding out is to open the boot, and you will see that these 2 catches here are in place if the car has folding seats. Without those, the car doesn't have them, and I think you also should have some telltale catches at the top here to show you that the car's been equipped with the folding seats. In terms of the other bits and pieces, because it's got the storage package, it has the 12-volt socket in the back. We also have a bottle holder here, and then these little clips here for hanging plastic bags and things like that, stop stuff rolling around in the boot. BMW is a standard, fitted with run flat tyres, so therefore you will not find a spare wheel underneath here. We have this larger sort of area in the Touring model, and then if we open up the back here, this is also part of the sort of load area fixing kit and storage package. It means you can segregate off parts of the boot by clicking this panel here into those ones there. You've also got things like luggage net and stuff like that as well. So that's all part of the storage package. Not every single Touring model has it. What every Touring model does have is this cutout here. Now there's nothing missing. It's basically for the rear parcel shelf. So if you're not using that, you can remove that and actually clip it into there and hide it away underneath there, which is very, very useful indeed. The rest of the area has things like your locking wheel nut and all the little tool bits and pieces. In the saloons, there is and I think the coupes as well, there's a little section to the right hand side just there, and that's where your toolkit is kept. Final one, you've got your first aid kit, and then all the sort of amplifiers and bits and pieces there for the Harman Kardon system, should that be in place. Touring models again, nice pull-out cover, and then you've also got a dog or parcel guard that goes away there on the back. If the cars are fitted with an electric boot lid, which could be across any one of the models, you simply press up here. The convertible models have a very, very handy sort of luggage space area that you can make changes to make them a lot larger for getting bits and pieces in as well, which is actually a very, very useful feature to have. So moving to the inside, over on the door, we've got front and rear electric windows, as well as the rear child locks, and then the controls for your mirrors as well. So simply move it left and right to select which mirror you're using, and then use the pressure pad there to move each individual mirror. The power folding mirrors are pressed from the button there, or as you may remember I mentioned, you can do that off the key as well. Now, if you leave the selection over here, then when you put the car into reverse, the left-hand mirror, passenger mirror, will dip down to ensure that you don't smack into the curb as well. If you don't like that as a feature, and a lot of people don't, you simply just move it back the other way. So that's just a handy thing to know. And finally, I'll just show you the bonnet. With these ones, you don't have a separate catch underneath the bonnet, so you pull once, and that releases it, and then twice, and that unhitches it. Also hidden under there, eagle-eye viewers may spot, that's the boot release button as well, which again runs across most of the models if you have the power tailgate. So now that we've done the double press on that, just simply lift the bonnet. It's all on gas struts, so it won't go anywhere. And you've got your engine, jump start terminals, and everything like that up in here. And everything's really nicely kind of laid out and quite obvious. So you've got your screen wash bottle, like I said, the positive for your battery. You can put the negative terminal down onto this. It's a digital dipstick, so we don't have a physical one in here, so that shows up inside the car. But obviously you fill your oil in there, water in there, and everything like that as well. Obviously do speak to a trained mechanic before doing anything like that, which is why I'm not going to talk much more about the mechanical sides, otherwise something will probably blow up. So finally, jumping in. Now, this car is fitted with the professional satellite navigation system, which basically means that you have the larger screen up here. I'll talk you through some of the other bits first, and then we'll come back to the sat nav. Another very popular option, and one that did come as standard if you had the professional sat nav, is that the black panel display. Now, you can probably just about work out from the way that it's lit that there's a screen that starts up there and then goes across to there, like a rectangular one. You can just about see the outside lines on it. If you didn't have the black panel display, that would just be normal traditional gauges and with a very small screen just down to here. By having all of this on here, it just means that a bit more information can be shown. and changes depending on what driving mode you're in, and we'll also display things like satellite navigation instructions and warnings and things like that up there as well. So that's actually a really lovely feature to have. It just makes it feel a little bit more modern in here with that part of the screen, and obviously gives you a bit more information to display. Towards the end of the life of the F30 series, there was also a digital cockpit upgrade that you could have in here, which again just enabled you to have multiple views, and again a very, very nice sort of upgrade to have, although there's still a place I think for traditional gauges and things like that. People quite like it. So starting from the right and moving across, we have automatic headlights fitted to this car, so you just leave this in auto all the time. If you do want to override the lights, you've got off, side lights, main lights, and then front and rear fog lights. This one over here will change the dimness or the brightness of your dashboard, and if the car is not fitted with LED or xenon lights, then there will be a second one here which will change the manual height for the headlights as well. So that's all up there on the right hand side. This being the M Sport model, you get the lovely chunky 3-spoke M Sport steering wheel with paddle shift as well. Again, not standard on all the models, so do if that's something that's important to you, do make sure. But obviously if you see the large paddles up here, then you'll know that the car has been fitted with the paddle shift gearbox. Obviously on a manual car you will not see any of those. If your car has cruise control, again it is fitted across to this side. I think as standard you would have the speed limiter, so you can, if you wanted to stick to 60 miles an hour through a certain part of the road or something, you can limit the car, choose the speed, and then it will stop you from going any faster. If you have cruise control, you can turn it on by pressing this, and then you can set the speed. Obviously when you're driving along it's impossible to show you while we're stationary, but you can set the speed on here by moving up and down, and it will display up on there the speed that you've got it set at. To cancel it, just dab the brakes, and to resume, just press the RES button, obviously, to resume that. Now, if your car has adaptive cruise control, you have additional buttons up on here, and this means that it's laser guided and will pick up the car in front, and will actually slow you down and speed you up depending on the traffic that's in front of you. But that's probably for a separate video, but that's where those would be. So if you see additional buttons on here, the car has probably got adaptive cruise control. Across to the right hand side, this is where all your media is. So you have voice control, your volumes, and then next track or next radio station can all be fitted and changed up on there. And then the button to answer your telephone is just down here. So volume up, volume down, and your telephone answering button is on there. The other part, when the car was upgraded slightly, they changed to these slightly newer stalks for the indicators and wipers. The previous ones, they actually all work in a very, very similar way. The main difference is that the automatic windscreen wipers, you used to press the button on the outside there to launch those, and now instead you move it up one to the auto spot, and you'll see the little green light coming on there. So that means that the rain sensor, which is held up here, will be activated. Lights. So indicators, the car as standard will have 3-stage indicators. You can change that through in the main system, which we'll show you in a second, but it's very, very useful. So it just means if you're coming off a roundabout or something like that, you can just press it once and it will do 3 clicks. Obviously if you lift it up completely, it'll do a full cycle, and then just tap it away to get rid of that. To flash the headlights, pull this towards you, and the onboard computer, depending on what setup you have, as this car does have adaptive lights and the high beam assist, they're split on here, but otherwise you might just see one button on here for BC, which is onboard computer, and that will cycle through the different displays up on here on the driver's information system. And again, you can turn on your high beam assist from doing that one there as well, so hopefully that all makes sense. Most cars all have start-stop technology. That's not this button here at all, despite it saying start and stop on it. It's actually the button above it. So with the automatic start-stop feature there, we can turn that off by pressing that one on. So when the light is on, the system is off, if that makes sense. So when you start the car from fresh, the system will already be primed. Now, if you get this sign coming up on here, it just means that there's not enough battery charge in the car at the moment to perform the start-stop. So that will, after you've been driving for a little while, you'll have enough power in there in order for that to work. To start and stop the engine, you just press in this one as well. So as I mentioned before, it's a keyless system. So as long as the keys are in the car, put your foot on the brake and just press start and stop. To switch the engine off, start and stop again. I've never seen, so I don't think it was an option, an electric steering column in one of these models. So to release it, you just press that button down. You can then lift the steering wheel and pull it towards you as well. So that's the adjustment for that, and then just push this up when you're finished. If your car is equipped with a heated steering wheel, your button is down here. Press it on from there and you'll see the little orange light on there as well. Quite a nice feature in the winter. If your car is featured with heated seats, they are all controlled from over here. This bit hasn't changed other than slight different colour design, but all of the major controls are exactly the same as they were. So 3-stage heated seats, hot, medium, not so hot, and off. Dual zone climate control fitted to most cars. They're certainly standard on the M Sport models, but some of the other ones may have just had the normal kind of air conditioning or single zone climate control. But again, it's very, very intuitive and easy to use. You've got a temperature one where you see the blue and the red, strength of fans there. Automatic obviously sets the internal temperature to the mean of these two. So if you put it down to there, it would essentially blow out at 19 degrees. Heated rear window, heated front window, and then you've got max air conditioning there as well, should it start steaming up in here as well. So we'll just hold that one off back there. This car is featured with an automatic gearbox. This changed ever so slightly. You had this sort of thinner version before, but works in the same way. Park is by pressing the button on the top there. The release, basically whenever you try and move that, it'll come up and tell you that you need to press unlock. The unlock button is on the outside, so foot on the brake, press this down to drive. When you've stopped, just press P to get that back up to park. The cars are also fitted with a manual override, so you can either use things like the paddle shift if that's been fitted, or you can also manually override the car as well. If you move this down to drive, you'll notice that this gear stick stays exactly the same place all the time, so whenever you move it, it always returns to centre. But when it's in D, you can knock it to the left, and this will put it into sport mode, and you'll see over there we're on S1 now. What that also enables you to be able to do is use the gears manually. When you do that, it changes from S to M. So you've got all the way up there. This is the ZF 8-speed gearbox. So it means that you can manually override that and put the car into a manual mode and then use that while you're driving along. Very, very simple to use again, but in all honesty, it's something that you use on your way home and then very rarely use ever again. And most people will just leave the car and drive all the time and just use it that way. One of the best facelift options they did was get rid of the removable tray that is here that covers the cup holders. It was very, very annoying. Most people just threw it into their glove box, so BMW obviously listened and replaced this here with a pull across door, which is a lot more useful. There used to be a completely pointless flap here as well for storing nothing. They've now turned this into a rubberized tray, which is a lot more useful and obviously allows now for that to happen. You also get a 12-volt socket there in the centre for charging devices. In the front centre armrest, you will see a number of different features depending on which car you have. You have this rubberized tray as standard in the more modern ones. Sometimes you'll see a clip-in phone cradle set up in there. They'll all have the auxiliary and USB sockets, and then also sometimes you will get a wireless charging pad that sits in there as well, so you can just put your device in there, but there will be a logo that sort of shows that that's in place. Back up onto this system, this is obviously where things are going to change ever so slightly. This has got the kind of the newer Idrive system. Basically all the menus and things like that are very much they all display exactly the same things. They're just laid out slightly differently, but what I'm actually going to do is not show you in this car. I'll probably show you in the other one, which has got the sat nav that most of these models have. the main sort of difference that you'll see is this kind of setup here as well. So I'll just sort of overlay the differences between the different sort of iDrive setups that you can get. But basically all the information that you need is still in exactly the same place really. Vehicle status will still show you all of your servicing requirements, engine oil levels and everything like that as well. So a very, very, very nice and simple system to use. But rather than going through and showing you everything on here, I'm going to go back to show you the one that was fitted to the majority of the F30 models. Down on here, now this is interesting. A lot of people still seem to think that these might be radio presets. They're not actually. You can actually use any preset. Well, you can basically preset any function in the car that you want and put a number against it. Now that could be a radio station. It could also be an entry in your phone book. So if you wanted to call home and you had that on your phone, you can actually just press number 5 and it will call home. Or also, if you constantly sort of go into a screen and you want to get hold of that information, you don't want to have to delve down all the way to get to the servicing requirements, for instance. You can actually, once you're on the screen and you've got to where you want to be and you want to save it, so let's put it on to number 8, you just press and hold number 8 and you'll hear the audible sound there. And now, no matter which menu you're back to, if you press number 8, it will take you straight to the servicing screen. So a really, really useful, handy system to have. So there you go. So I'm going to leave this bit here and move across to a different system, but we'll just finish off all the other bits and pieces in here very quickly. Mode simply moves between the different inputs that you have, so whether it be radio, whether it be auxiliary, whether it be the music collection, DAB radios, or your external device, and then this button down here will activate the traffic reports. So it just means that it'll chirp in and let you know what sort of traffic that is around at any one time, and interrupt sort of radio stations and things like that as well. So on or off simply for that one. Back down to here, there's a number of different iDrive designs over the years. You have this one here is the most model one. Basically, as soon as you see the larger dial, that means it has the professional satellite navigation, and this one also has the handwriting pad on it as well. Again, that's all on the professional ones. I'll show you the sort of differences between all of them now. I hope you found the video useful, just sort of talking through some of the features and kind of where everything is on a BMW F30. If you have any additional questions, anything that you think I may have missed that you would find helpful, then please do let us know by commenting in the video. I'd be more than happy to sort of help with any additional questions that you may have. Thank you very much again for watching, and we'll see you next time.